Hello to everyone and anyone watching this video. My name is Taja. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know if I've introduced this bad boy to this channel. I know I've introduced it to my second channel. Go subscribe. Spoiler alert, it's not actually a microphone. An actual microphone would be a good idea, but for now my nose is running. For now I've got this bad boy. Today we are going to be talking. Well, I'm going to be talking, you're going to be listening. If you want to listen, you can. I've been feeling really existential recently, and I was like one day in the summer where I was just thinking about the future of my channel, like this channel, and what kind of videos I want to do. And I really want to do more videos where I talk about things that I've seen people talk about that I also think about a lot, and just give my thoughts, not in a commentary video kind of thing, because I'm not the kind of person who wants to do the research. I'm so lazy, this proper research commentary video. That's not me. I want to do more just talking about things and giving my opinion. Oh, sorry, that was a fly. Just giving my opinion on different topics and stuff. So today's video is going to be about ageism. Last month I published a vlog. I did really well, by the way, thank you if you watched it. I posted a vlog about my life as a 25-year-old teenage girl. I've noticed a lot of people have been scared of aging, or there's been a rise in maybe not a rise in ageism, but a lot of a focus on age, in the sense of a lot of people clinging onto youth and kind of regressing to a younger version of themselves, between inner child work and the phrase pushing 30, pushing 40, pushing 20 if you're Olivia Rodrigo apparently. And yeah, it's not quiet. There's been a trend going around recently, and I've engaged in it, like I said in my vlog last month, of the whole idea of being an adult in your 20s, and mocking people who are kind of old, pushing 40, pushing 30, which I know it's really bad, and ageism isn't funny, but I find that phrase hilarious. There was one that really, apart from the Olivia Rodrigo one, this fucking fly going. There was this one about Taylor Swift, and someone was like, she's pushing 40, mind you, she's only 33. And that just made me giggle. I know ageism isn't funny, but that was really funny to me. There's just been a big shift of wanting to go back to childhood, I think, or a younger version. First thing I think is just ageism. And obviously, if you don't know what ageism is, basically discrimination of someone or group of people because of their age. Now this can be towards young people. For example, if you're applying for jobs, I'm still in my fun employed era. Not very fun, but I'm in that era nonetheless. And I feel jobs will ask you for 10 years of experience, but I've only graduated 3 years ago, so if 2 plus 2 is 4, 5 plus 5 is 10, what the fuck is this kind of thing? The math isn't mathing. And older people who are oh, Gen Z are lazy, and stuff. So definitely young people suffer from ageism, but in the kind of context that I'm talking about for this video, ageism is referring to old people. There's kind of this disgust of all this fear of aging. I feel it's definitely a bit sexist as well, because I feel with women it's very much a case of the older you are, the less valuable you are. With women it's a bigger thing to age, because your eggs dry up and you must, I mean, in Victoria times, whenever that book Great Expectations, I think it was, with Miss Havisham, the spinster. So once you're old and you're not married, then you're useless, you're invaluable. I watched what is that film called, Pride and Prejudice, for the first time, the 2005 one with Keira Knightley and the guy from Succession. I can't believe that husband is the same guy that played Mr. Darcy. That's crazy to me. But there's that scene with the girl's friend, I forgot the character's name.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents. And I'm frightened.
Girl, same. We see each other. Because I'm 25, and like I mentioned in the vlog I made, go watch that video, by the way. It could connect to this video quite well. But I feel being 25, I'm constantly feeling like, oh my goodness, like I only have a limited amount of time before like I'm useless to society. Like once I'm 30, like I'm not going to be like a young 20 in heart. Although, I mean, I probably will be, because I look like 12 years old right now, so I probably realistically will be extremely sexy when I'm in my 30s. But still, it's just that kind of like, oh my god, 30. And like one of my favorite films is Bridget Jones, and I remember that film, like, and oh my goodness, like she's in her 30s and she still hasn't got a husband. That's the whole like plot for the whole like trilogy. I remember like Taylor Swift as well. She said that she was scared of turning 30 because she thought that, you know, when she turned 30 she was gonna dry up, because that's what happens to a lot of like singers and stuff. They become irrelevant. Luckily for Taylor Swift, and you know, God bless, there's quite a few artists who are doing well. Beyonce as well, like she's in her 40s and she's like killing it, and it's so nice to see. But like, you know, you still get the fear that, you know, once you're 30 you become less and less valuable, less and less loved, you become irrelevant, you become valuable, you know, you can't have children, you can't, you know, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. There is, I guess, like the cougar thing. So I guess, I don't know when the whole cougar like thing became a thing. Like I said, this is not a researched video, but like, even though there was the cougar thing, like I feel like in most cases you'll find most cases of like older women not being celebrated, not being, you know, put up in a pedestal. And it's funny because like when you think of aging men, there's definitely more space for them to be successful as they get older, because I feel like if you think of older men, you think of like authority, you think of, you know, sexy daddy thing, like oh my god, like he's daddy, like be my daddy kind of thing. Just like, I feel like it's more higher status, just like more higher power. If you look at most politicians and people in power, they're all old men, which is crazy. Some of these like politicians, that old American guy who like literally like I shut down, like someone was like speaking to him and he was just like standing there, like he needs to go to a home, he needs to go to a care home quickly, like someone take him away please.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
If you think about it, I feel like the only time, I guess that's kind of proves my point, the only time you see women celebrated for their ages in a sexual way, whereas with men it's like, yeah, they can be, you can be a sexy older man, but you can also be a man of power and status and be older. When there's a guy and he's like older and he's single, like he's a bachelor, he's whatever, and it's a woman, just like, oh, she's been stuff, wow. That's really annoying, I think. Next thing I want to talk about is nostalgia. I love the feeling of nostalgia, even though it is very bittersweet, because like there'll be times in my life where I'm like, I want to go back to, you know, when I was a kid and it was the 2000s and like the TV and the fashion and like just the vibes kind of thing, because it's just such a simpler, more innocent time. And I guess if I was my age in the noughties, like if I was my age now, 25, but in the noughties now, I wouldn't have that kind of feel, because I wouldn't be a child then. I'd be experiencing that kind of time as an adult. And it's just really interesting to me, like when you think of like trends as well. I think like the kind of thing of nostalgia is a very societal thing. I don't know if I'd say there's an increase or a decrease in nostalgia now more so than before, but if you look at like trend cycles and stuff, and this is something that's been spoken about loads, but like trend cycles and how like things are coming back in style at a faster rate, like the fact that like I think it used to be 20 years that like a trend would come back, and now it's like 10 years. And you know, when I was a teenager 10 years ago, like there was the whole like 2014 Tumblr thing, and then just it took 10 years for that kind of thing to like come back, and like Tumblr core to come back on TikTok. I made a video on that, I think 2022. People are like so eager to go back to the past that they're not like happy where they are, like they want to go back to a time where they were younger, things may be better. I don't know, because I mean, I guess it's the kind of thing where like you don't realize how good you have it until it's gone, or you don't realize what you have until it's gone. So maybe, I mean, like even if we talk about the whole Tumblr core like era, not that I had a Tumblr, I think I spoke about it when I made that video, but I didn't actually have a Tumblr. But the whole time in general, like 2014, and like the passion and the music and stuff, I kind of look back at that time and like, if I didn't think too deeply about what was going on in my personal life, I would say, oh my goodness, like yeah, it was really like nostalgic, really fun, like I miss that. But in reality, my time as like a teenager, like when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, was hell. My home life was really bad. I was being bullied really badly. Like, school was shit, home life was shit, everything was a bit shit. I felt really insecure. Mental health wasn't thriving at all. Realistically, if I had the option to go back there, I wouldn't go back there. But nostalgia makes you think, oh my goodness, it's so much better than now. I think because, which I'll probably talk about later on, but I think because now, where I'm now, is not fun. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like I wish I could go back, because where I am now is shit. So in the past would be better, but that's not true. It's just a different version of bad, because I know that time in my life was bad, but in my head it's like, oh my goodness, nostalgia, like that time is like, it's romanticized, I guess, you know what I mean? And speaking of like nostalgia, I think even though like I said, like my life right now isn't the best, I've been going through it this year. 2023 has been hell for me. Not just for me, I think societally, like everything is so bleak. Everything is so like depressing. Like looking at like the cost of living crisis, looking at, you know, politics and the environment, and just like everything is just so bleak right now. I've just been really thinking like, what is there to look forward to in the future? Like, being serious. Like, I'm 25 right now. People say, oh, like, when you can have children, when you can get married. I'm too mentally ill to ever get into a relationship, or at least before I, you know, get therapy. How long is it going to take for me to be able to get therapy? Well, I need to be able to have a stable job that I can afford therapy. How am I going to do that when there's no jobs? I've been looking for like nearly 6 months now. For nearly 6 months for a job. I still haven't got one yet. I'm currently a lodger for a flat. I mean, it's not my own flat, and I'm from London, so like, and I have no intentions of leaving London. To stay in the city I was born in and grew up in, it's going to cost me like thousands, like a month to pay rent. Buying is like out of the question. I don't genuinely, unless I get a really good paying job, but I don't even know what I want to do. And it's like, what do I do, and how, what can I do that I could earn enough to buy in London? But like, even renting in London, like how am I gonna do that? Like, with what money? And what flats, what apartments, what homes, where are they? They're too expensive, and it's so competitive. So I'm gonna be living in like crap places until like probably my 30s, if I'm being realistic, unless I like magically find a job that's really well paying. But it's already taken me 6 months to find a job, and I'm still looking. I've now had to resort to look for hospitality, which I was avoiding, because I did that when I was at university in the summer, and I really hated it and had like loads of trauma doing hospitality. But now I'm like, I really need the money, because I've been struggling for like months, being really broke. And at least when I have a hospitality job, even though I hate it, at least I have a bit of money, and I have like little debts to pay back from when I was really broke this summer, and I had to ask people for money to live, and to be able to like be here where I'm living at the moment, in this place where I'm a lodger, I'm not even renting it, and it's not even my own place. So I need the money for a job. And I'm like, even if I am at the stage where I'm mentally like well enough to like be in a full-time relationship and have a child, and you know, be at a state where I'm not going to damage my child with my issues and my traumas, like what are they going to be born into? Because like every summer it's getting hotter and hotter, the weather's getting crazier and crazier, global warming, climate change, it's really scary. Is the world going to even be here? Am I going to die before the world dies? Maybe not though. You know what I mean? Am I going to make it to my death day before the day that the earth like disintegrates because humans treat it like shit? I don't know. I actually don't know, to be honest. And in politics, why? I feel like things are going in the right direction, where like, you know, people were getting more and more rights. It was looking that way, and now it's like everything's going backwards. Police brutality it feels like it's getting worse. There's laws against trans people, and that are being reversed. We're seeing, you know, women constantly being hurt by men. Back to the relationship thing, like, even if I was at a sound mind and didn't have all my traumas, like, men. If you've been watching my videos this year, you know I've experienced my first heartbreak, and it was really shit. And to this day, even though I've like healed quite a lot, it's still there. It's still something I'm dealing with, like, and it's something that really I don't want to say damaged, but like, I'm just thinking like, but it's not just me. There's so many women, so many people, to be fair. It's not just a gender thing. Obviously women can break men's heart too, and obviously if you're in a queer relationship, men can hurt men, women can hurt women, but non-binary people can hurt non-binary people, whatever the mix is. But it's just like, most people are shit, so like, who am I actually gonna be with? Who's not gonna be a shit person? I don't know. So I'm probably gonna die alone, which is really depressing. I don't know, it's just like, it just feels like everything's getting worse and worse. I was speaking to my friend the other day, and she said that she reckons things are gonna get better, but they're gonna get a lot worse before they get better. But like, how worse does it have to be before change is made? Because I think people are so complacent. I think because of like, you know, capitalism and the work week, we're saying how like, because people are so focused on working and trying to live, that we're too tired to fight back on all the other shit that's going on. So we're just complacent. Because I'm sitting here complaining about things, but like, I'm not actively doing anything to make a change, because I'm so tired and drained from existing that like, I'm complaining about things that are going to affect my future, but I'm not actually doing anything because I'm too tired, and most people are feeling the same way. The fear and pressure of adult responsibilities. Being an adult is actually so scary. 21, I was an adult. I became an adult officially. That means I've been an adult for 4.5 years, and I still don't know what I'm doing. And the fact that like, I'm constantly having to engage in adult things, like looking for a job. Okay, I've had a job. I've had my big girl job. I had that before I was fired. Thanks a lot to my fucking bitch boss. I shouldn't say that. That's really mean. She was kind of a bitch though. But yeah, it's just so scary. Like bills. Right now, I pay my rent and then I have my phone bill. But like, when I have my own place, I'm gonna have like other bills, and it's just like really scary. And it's just like, why am I having all this responsibility? Taxes? Oh no. I have to go to the doctors for like your health, for, like adult health things. Like there's things I need to go to doctors for. There's like, I'm too baby for this. Why am I doing this? I'm a baby. Why am I going to like? And also like the summer as well, like I got an IUD put in. I'm not even sexually active at the moment, but I was like, oh my god, I'm not having any baby. Just, you never know, I might be like, oh, you know, I wanna go back to the streets. Not that I was ever in the streets, to be honest. Let's be serious. Let's be so for real right now. But like, IUDs, that's such a grown-up adult thing. When I think of an adult, I don't think of myself. I think of like, I guess when I was a child and what I saw adults doing, and they going to work with their coffees and 9 to 5 and the rat race, and you know, mortgages, and like, you know, when eventually having children, and I don't know, it's just hard. Having to buy food for myself. I've been trying to like do a big massive like online shop, and then like I'll go to the shops like throughout the month if I need to get like extras. But it's so like, oh, and it's so why is food too expensive? I don't understand. I have to do it every single month / week. It's so expensive. And cooking, making meals for myself. I'm someone who cooks in batch as well. I cook my dinners in batch. Like, so I'll meal prep. So I'll have like, I'll make something enough for like 4 days. And like, you're telling me I'm cooking, I buy all this food, all these ingredients, which is money to make it. And I just eat it and shit it out. And I have to do that again and again and again. I have to eat this food that I buy and I make and I cook. And just to shit it out, just so I can live. And I have to do it a few times a day. And don't get me wrong, I love food. I fucking love eating. Eating makes me so happy. But at the same time, it's like, it's so annoying. And also like, therapy as well. Like, to be a functioning adult, I'm not a functioning adult, and I know I really need to go to therapy. And it's like, it's such an adult thing to do. And it's like, putting in the work to deal with the traumas, it's just so overwhelming. I just get so overwhelmed at all the things in my life that are to do with being an adult. All the things I'm gonna have to do in the future. I'm just a girl. And I think back to when I was like at school, and all I had to do was like my homework and like coursework, which is dumb to think like that, because when I was a teenager I had so much going on as well. Like I said, I was being bullied, and you know, even if I had a nice like normal happy adolescence, like you're going through puberty, and you know, you're thinking about boys, and you're thinking about like, I don't know, like all the other like shit you deal with when you're a teenager. And when you're a teenage girl, like this whole romanticization of being a teenage girl, when being a teenage girl is actually hell, because you get like people sexualizing you when you're a fucking child. You're going through hormones and like you have to be perfect. It's the first time you feel like you have to look like pretty, and if you're not good enough. The first feeling of like, you know, I'm a woman, it's like so like it makes you feel like suddenly the whole world is on your shoulders and you feel like, oh my god, I'm a woman in this world, I can't handle this. I quickly want to talk about the pandemic as well, because I think the pandemic for me and for a lot of people has actually impacted, for my age group as well, people around my age, going into the pandemic in university, coming out as now an adult. It took 2 years of my life, like the whole like early 20s experience of like as an adult out of uni. I had my early 20s a bit like at university, but like being out of university and experiencing my early 20s, I never experienced that, and it's really sad. I never had that, like I'm just an adult in my early 20s living my life, you know, like I never had the experience. Now I'm just like in my mid 20s, now I'm 25, I'm pushing 30. No, I'm not pushing 30 yet. I feel like once I get to like 27, then I'm pushing 30. But it's like I missed out on these like messy years as an adult, just being silly early 20s because of the pandemic, and I feel like it took so much away from us. And now like my whole generation's like, okay, like I've just skipped this whole chunk of my life where we all kind of like dissociated, just trying to survive, trying not to die from this fucking virus that was killing us, that killed so many of us. And now we're just like, oh well, now I'm like a grown age and I'm just I've been craving the whole partying thing, even though I did have that a bit at university. I'm craving the whole like fun party, going out till up, because I never got that as an adult out of university because I was stuck in my house for 2 years. And now like most of my like friends and loads of people my age are like, oh well, no, we're settling down now, like don't want anyone. I'm like, I do, but I'm too grown for that now. Although I did watch a TikTok that made me really happy. I'll insert it, I think I saved it on my phone, but basically this girl saying that you'll get your second like I don't know if it's second puberty or second like kind of, I don't know, but it's like a renaissance of your youth where like you're back in the streets in your late 20s, and I can't wait for that. If that's true, I really hope, because I've heard that a couple of times, so I hope that happens and hope everyone around me is on board, because I need that. I don't want to settle down. I'm young and hot and sexy.
If you are a girly and you're in your mid-20s, not your late 20s, your mid-20s, and you might be going through your quarter life crisis and you feel like you need to be an adult, right? You feel like you need to develop your self-care routines, right? You're not really going out anymore. You go to bed at a decent hour and you're like, oh, it might be time to settle down because I just feel so good about not partying anymore, like being my college age self anymore, right? The biggest thing I can say is don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap and get married. Don't fall for the trap and have kids, because guess what? This is all going to take place before your second inevitable wind that hits you in your 20s. Now, I'm sure you're like, what is a second wind? Okay, the second wind comes right around your 27th birthday, where all of a sudden you get a second wind of energy and you want to go out and be out in the streets and be outside like you were between 20 and 22. But you will be able to hang. You will be able to pound back those drinks. You will want to be on somebody's boat, shaking your butt. You will want to be outside and go to every single brunch, go to every single thing that you can go to. When you're late 20s, you got money, so you got resources. You can now be outside. Especially if you're not married and you don't have kids, you can be outside all night. And being in your late 20s, guess what? You are literally in the desirable age range for men in their 30s and men in their 20s. So you can date whoever you want to. The dating game is so much fun in the late 20s because everyone's dating in that age range. Understand, your feral days will resurface, especially if you retire low-key. You retire those early 20s a little too early, like you were already inside on some grandma time stuff when you were 22. Yeah, boo. They're gonna hit you like a damn brick when you're 27.
I want to go back to my pre-pandemic life. I was young and free and hot in my very early 20s, and then pandemic, and now I'm 25. okay, sure. Romanticization of being a teenager again. If you didn't have an adolescence, like a nice happy adolescence, I feel like the whole 25 teenage girl is really nice because it's kind of healing your inner child a bit, because it's kind of a nice way of reliving the time that was stolen from you. That's how I feel, that's how I'm taking it. As well as the fact that, like, because of all the traumas that I experienced, I don't know how to function now as an adult, because I didn't have, like I was thinking the other day, like, I'm very socially inept. I really struggle. I think there's a lot of reasons. Well, I have social anxiety. There's something going on in my brain. This isn't me self-diagnosing, being like, oh my god, like, I'm neurodivergent, I'm so trendy. No. But yeah, no, I feel like there's something going on. But I feel like a lot of it is just to do with the fact that, like, so when I was in primary school, I was bullied. I've just been bullied my whole life. It's giving victim, which is kind of embarrassing. But I was bullied in primary school. I didn't have any friends. So then I got to secondary school, and because of my lack of social skills that weren't developed, those crucial years of being 4 to 11, I then struggled in secondary school, which then made me a target and made me struggle to have more friends. So, you know, the core social skills you learn in your adolescence when you're in secondary school, I didn't learn them. So then I got to, you know, university, and then I struggled there, and then I was alienated again, like, especially my first flat, my first year of university, and then I struggled there, and didn't have any friends, and those skills got developed. So I have a very, like, inconsistent, like, experience of being social. So now I'm a fully grown adult, and I just can't do it. I find socializing so difficult. And there's so many other things as well, like the whole relationship thing I made in my video about when I was a little slut in Berlin. I talked about it as well, about the whole, like, as well, dating and stuff, because I was so insecure and so scared of men, so I didn't date growing up, and now I just can't do it. And now that I've experienced this heartbreak as well, I'm like, I'm never doing anything romantic again. I'm literally gonna be single forever, and I'm happy with that. Don't know if I'm gonna feel that forever, but right now I feel very jaded. Maybe if I had those experiences, if I wasn't so busy, you know, dealing with mental health issues and, well, other things, whatever, like, maybe I'd have normal experiences when I was a child and a teenager, and I'd be able to, like, function now as an adult. So now I'm an adult, and there's things I really struggle with that I feel like I wouldn't struggle with if I had a normal upbringing. So I felt the whole, like, 25-year-old teenage girl isn't just about me, like, healing my inner child, but it's also coming to terms with the fact that I am not a functioning adult because of all the stuff that happened to me when I was younger. Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of like a nice way of healing my inner child. I've talked about this before. I don't know what video, but I think it was actually my Tumblr core video, but I mentioned how, like, when people think of healing their inner child, they think of their childhood, but for me, as well as my childhood, I also need to heal my adolescence and my teenage self. Healing into things that I liked when I was a teenager. It's a nice way of, like, going back to those times that I didn't get to enjoy because I was dealing with all the shit, whether it's partying or watching certain things, you know, watching, like, kids movies. I've watched so many kids films. There's some, if you watch my Through My Eyes vlogs, you've seen I watched so many, like, I've been on Disney Plus. I use someone else's Disney Plus. My sisters gave me a username, a password, and a dream, so I've been using Disney Plus. I don't know who it belongs to. So I've been watching loads of Disney films, and just generally loads of, like, kids films and stuff, and it's really nice just to become a kid again, even though I feel kind of silly sometimes because, like, oh, I'm not 5 years old anymore, why am I enjoying this? But it's just, I don't know, it's fun, kind of. I don't know. I feel like this whole video is a bit of a ramble, but what are my takeaways? My takeaways are that people are scared to grow up. People want to cling on to their adolescence or just a generally younger time in their life. People mock other people for pushing 30, pushing 40, pushing 60, pushing 20 if you're Olivia Rodrigo. I'm so sorry, Queen. Love your album, by the way. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely, like, a fear of aging, of whether it's, like, a physical fear, because also as well, I didn't talk about this, but, like, you know, on TikTok there was a couple, I think a year or so ago, but, like, there was a whole, like, thing where people were talking a lot about how not to age, and, like, it was really ridiculous things like, don't, like, chew and don't, like, smile, otherwise you're gonna get, like, fucking lines in your face. And it's like, it's not that deep. Everyone ages and it's fine. This whole thing of, like, we expire when we're, like, over a certain age, we all die after we turn 18 or something. And it's like, no, I'm still very, very young. Because when I talk to people who are like older, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna share some tea right now. I feel really bad for sharing this, but I think it's a nice light-hearted way to end the video. My landlady who I live with, she's in her 40s right now. It's actually not funny. It's actually really, I'm actually very, very traumatized. But even though it's really scarred me, it's kind of inspired me, low-key. So it was a nice Sunday evening. I was there sitting in my room watching Gilmore Girls, I think. Started watching Gilmore Girls. I love Gilmore Girls. Anyway, I'm just sitting doing my thing. There's a ring on the buzzer. And the door opens and I hear a man's voice. Now this is the first time that there's been a guest in the house. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Whatever. I don't know. As far as I was aware, my landlady was single. She's a friend of ours, I don't know. I'm really feeling like kind of uneasy because like there's someone in the house that doesn't live there. I'm like, oh, I'm shy, I can't go anywhere now. But I was like, it's fine, well, it's not that big of a deal. But if I leave my room, I see them, I just say hello, it's not that deep. So before my landlady came back, when I was living here alone, I noticed, I heard a lot, my downstairs neighbours. There must be a couple down there and they would be clapping cheeks. Quite often. But it's not like super loud where it's disruptive, but it's just like, oh, I can definitely hear something. They're definitely having sex. Good for you, queen, get on the deck. There's nothing really she can do. She's not being, I mean, she's kind of loud, but it's like, you know, it's fine, whatever. So I hear these noises. I hear these sex noises again. But it's a little louder than usual. Because, I mean, even though I can hear it quite clearly when it's downstairs, obviously it's a different house. It's still a different level. So it's like, it's not like crystal clear. So I hear these sex noises. I'm like, oh, okay, my neighbour's at it again. But the noises sound louder and closer, and the voices sound familiar. And by voices, I mean voice. The woman's voice sounds familiar. So I'm like, okay, what's happening here? There's no way that the noises I'm hearing is connected to the guest. Surely not. Surely not. So I get up, I go towards the door, and towards this, like the side wall, which is where my landlady's room is. My landlady is getting railed to Kingdom Come. My landlady, who is pushing 50, since we're gonna stay on theme for this video, is getting railed by this guy. I'm just like, first of all, who wants to hear their landlady having sex? Not me. Not me. Not me, actually. But also, like, I know, ageism again, I'm being a hypocrite, but like, she's of a certain age, and like, oh, and I'm not stupid, obviously people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s have sex, but it's just like, I'm a baby, you're old, like, you're having sex. And I was like, whoa. But you know what got me the most? Was the fact that as it was leaving, why did my girl say, nice to meet you? My girl is getting a casual hookup on Tinder, or I don't know what day now she used. That was her first time meeting this guy. This random guy. So yeah, he since came back a second time. He came back last night. Heard everything again. Very traumatizing. It happened during dinner time as well, so I hadn't eaten. I was too scared to go to the kitchen because her room is right next to the kitchen. Moral of the story is, that kind of inspired me. Even though I'm disgusted and traumatized, it's inspiring because she's of a certain age and she's still having casual hookups. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will talk to you soon. Yeah. Don't be scared of aging. I'm gonna try not to be scared of aging. There's so much time. I'm literally a baby. You're probably a baby if you're around my age. It's gonna be fine. You'll have loads of time to do everything. We have so much time. It's gonna be fine. It's not too late to do the thing you want to do. You're not too old. It's fine. I'm not too old to travel the world and do all the crazy things I want to do. Even though I think that all the time. But it's not too late for me. It's not too late for you. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. I'm panicking because it's flashing, but also I want to say what I've got to say. I feel like I've forgotten to say something, but it's fine. Okay, see you later. Bye. Love you. Ooh.
Oh, don't come at me with that type of insanity. You know that's that shit I don't need. Sometimes I feel like